tap, 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 tap. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. Hey, hi, we started recording. I'm so sorry. Yeah, as you can see, I got a little bit distracted. This is supremely entertaining. It's just so much fun to tap my silly little game. All right, so we've created a very simple app over here, and you learn about variables. Okay, you learned about printing things on screen. We removed the print call, but you can actually leave it inside there. And we learned about string interpolation, putting variables into strings so that they can show up. This new thing here is a state variable, and this state variable is very special because once you modify it inside the button's code, you can actually just increase it and the screen will update by itself. Okay, so this is all well and good, but I want to show you just a little bit more. Now, there's something that computers are really good at, and that's making decisions based on data. So what you can ask a computer to do, like in this case, your iPad, is you might be able to ask it, okay, if the counter is perhaps equals to 0, well, then we don't want the decrease button to show up. Okay, so right now I have a problem. I've made it to 484 meows. I want to actually decrease it to the point where if my counter goes down to 0, it will actually stop showing up. Okay, so the best way to do this is to actually just change this number over here. I'm going to change this to, let's say, 9 for a moment. And what that does is it will reset the entire thing over here. So I'm going to change this back to 0. And now we're ready to test this out. Okay, so what I said just now was about conditionals. We want SwiftUI to decide that, okay, if counter is equals to 0, open curly brace, all right, then we don't want to display this button. All right, notice that I use this double equal sign because the equal sign means assignment. It's taking the right-hand side and putting it into the left-hand side. So that's not quite what we want. We want to check if the counter is equals to 0, we use double equals, then we don't show this button. Okay, but now that I've typed it out, I realize I got it a little bit backwards. I want to say that if the counter is greater than 0, then I show a decrease button. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to change this from equals to the greater than sign, and I'm going to copy and paste this button into the if statement over here. So I'm going to press Command V. All right, and by the way, if you saw a little flash on the screen, if you hold down Command, you can actually get all the keyboard shortcuts. So let me just show you that real quick. Right, if you hold down Command, most iPad apps will give you the keyboard shortcuts that are available. So you can see over here, Command Z is undo, Command V is paste, Command A is select all, and Control I is reindent. The only thing you need to know is how to interpret these little symbols. This is Command, this is Shift, and this is Control. All right, so back to our code. Okay, so it says over here, if counter is greater than 0, show this button. Oh wait, there's a bit of a problem here. There's 2 errors. Okay, so let's take a look. You have an error up here. Some of you might have encountered errors already in your code, but right now I have 2 errors and they show which lines the errors are on. If I click on this, you will see that, oh, instance member button style cannot be used on type view. I truly have no idea what that means. And similarly for this, type any view cannot conform to view. Okay, so that's one problem with working with SwiftUI. The error messages can be slightly cryptic. Now, what you can do over here is to just kind of look at the code and think, these 2 modifiers, is there something wrong about where they are? Yes, there is. These 2 modifiers belong together with the button. All right, so instead of just cutting those 3 lines of code, I should have cut 5 lines of code. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut these 2 lines of code and paste them over here so that they are attached to this button right here. Okay, one thing you might have noticed is that my decrease button is gone. Okay, so now if I increase, oh, my decrease button is back. All right, isn't that cool? Let's do it again. Ooh, decrease, increase, decrease, increase. I could do this all day. Decrease, I will not do this all day. Okay, so this right here is called conditional rendering. Right, conditional means an if statement. Rendering means putting something on screen. So if a certain condition is met, if counter greater than 0, then please put everything inside these curly braces on the screen. Okay, so that's one example of using conditionals. I'm going to show you one more example. And to do this, I'm going to create a new state variable. Okay, so I'm going to create a new state variable. State private var message equals to open inverted comma, and I'm just going to leave it like this and have a close inverted comma. Next, I'm going to have a piece of text after my if statement. So this is my if statement right here. Using a mouse, I can easily tell where it is by hovering over the closing curly brace. If you don't have a mouse or trackpad, just tap on this curly brace over here. Just tap on it, and you can find the line that it ends at. And I'm just going to press enter over here. And I'm going to say text bracket message. Okay, this does absolutely nothing right now because message is what we call an empty string. It's a piece of text with absolutely nothing inside. Super useless. Okay, but we're going to make it useful. Inside our button code, every time we increase it, we also check what it is. And if it's greater than a certain amount, we will put up a message to show the user. So in this case, this is about my cat yelling at me. So maybe when the cat yells at me more than 10 times, I'm going to put up a message that says, why don't you go feed the cat? Okay, so I'm just going to press enter over here. The code runs every time you press the button. So we're going to say if counter is greater than or equals to 10. Okay, you've probably seen greater than or equals in math. The way we type it out in code is greater than followed by the equal sign. If the counter is greater than or equals to 10, I'm going to set message to go feed the cat already! Exclamation mark. Okay, so let's try it out. So I'm going to press increase, increase, nothing happens. Okay, but every time I press increase, it runs the code inside here. I just want to be absolutely clear about this. Every time I tap on this, it will increase counter and it will check. Okay, it's like one of your friends who is very, very careful about their homework. Every time they write something, they will check to make sure that it's written correctly. That's a great attitude, by the way. All right, so increase, increase, increase. Okay, because it's a computer, right? This is the iPad running your code. It's really fast at this. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the fact that you're asking it to check every single time you are pressing the button. So increase, increase. Okay, when we next press, it's going to realize that the counter is greater than or equals to 10. It's going to set the message to something that's not an empty string. And it will now display it because text bracket message now says text followed by go feed the cat already. Okay, and this is a great time to show you another feature of an if statement where you can do else if counter greater than or equals to, let's say 30, right? Message equals to, oh no, he must be starving. He's not actually starving. He just likes to yell at me. Okay, so let's try it again. Right, this is going to take a bit of time for me to tap to 10. Okay, and I'm going to tap again. And now when I tap to 30, it will not actually change the message. That's really strange. All right, I'd like you to pause the video and think through why this happens. All right, so think through it. If the counter is greater than or equals to 10, it sets this message. Else, if the counter is greater than or equals to 30, it sets another message, right? Wouldn't that work? Okay, so this is actually something that's called short circuit evaluation. What this means is that your code is actually evaluated from top to bottom, and if the condition is met, Swift will just exit the if statement. All right, so this is a little bit like when you take a test and there's A, B, C, D, multiple choice, and you see that the answer is very obviously B. Okay, so you don't even look at option C, you don't even look at option D, and you confidently put down your answer B. All right, so it's a little bit like that. So in this case, because counter is greater than or equals to 10, okay, Swift will exit from the loop and it will never evaluate this. Because the moment counter is greater than or equals to 10, it's fulfilled the same condition as counter being greater than or equals to 30. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to flip the two conditions around for this to work. I'm going to set this to 30, and I'm going to set this to 10. Then I'm going to cut this message, paste it here, and I'm going to cut this message and paste it here. All right, so let's try this out now. So increase, increase, increase. All right, and when it reaches 10, it still works. It still says go feed the cat already. But now, if I go all the way to 30, all right, it will say, oh no, he must be starving. Okay, and finally, I can have one more condition that says else message equals to cat, question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, so this means that the moment I tap on it, it will set the message to be cat as long as neither of these conditions are met. Okay, so I'm just going to press increase and it says cat. Notice that it doesn't automatically say cat when the program starts. Okay, you have to press the button because this code in here is only run when you press the button. All right, the cat really is yelling at me a lot right now, so I'm gonna finish up this video real quick. Let me just check it one more time. If I go all the way to 10, it will change the message. Okay, because one of these other conditions is met, and Swift will evaluate it and exit the if statement. Okay, so you have to treat this as top to bottom. Think like how Swift would think. And it reads a lot like the English language. So get some practice with this. I have a challenge for you because right now, if I press decrease, none of this changes. Okay, notice that increase will change, right? And you can see it changes back to cat, question mark, question mark, question mark. But decrease doesn't actually do that. So I'd like you to try and think about how you can make that work. And I will see you in the next video.